So the New York Giants just officially benched Daniel Jones.
They did.
Their season is not going well. They're 2 and whatever. And so they bench Daniel Jones because if they keep him on the roster or if he gets hurt before the end of the season or something, they owe him like $23 million. So they've relegated him to QB4. Imagine paying QB4 $160 million.
Yeah.
The New York Jets, their season hasn't gone anywhere near what they thought it was. Now you fired your coach. You've reached a point where you fired your coach. You've held the team meetings. You traded for a player you didn't really need just to satisfy your quarterback. And now your GM is gone. And then the story of your owner, Woody Johnson, who has the rare name whose both first and last name would be a reference to a penis.
Yeah.
So anybody who's out there or Bird, give me more penis names before the end of the show.
Yeah.
In sports. Thanks. And so who, if you had to take a tally, who's in the worst situation? Is it the Jets or is it the Giants going forward?
The Jets are in the worst situation, right? They made the moves that are going to tie up not only cap space, but I believe draft picks coming up too, in mortgaging it all on the likes of an aging Aaron Rodgers and, and his buddy, so it's, and the fact that it's been proven, like you thought the issue was the coach went away, it's not it, then all right, who's next? Can't fire the star quarterback, so GM's up on the chopping block. So he obviously gets fired, and it's honestly, if you look at it from a hype standpoint on paper, this team should be winning.
Yes.
And they're not. They're doing the typical Jets thing. And I know Jet fans can't hate on that comment because they're the ones that are agreeing. They're the ones that are bringing it to the forefront. If only things can jet as bad as what it's going on, right? It's like they're almost numb to it at this point.
Yeah.
So the Jets have it worse, and more so when you look at the Giants, there's young talent at the receiver core that's there. They have a QB issue. That's exactly what it is, and an offensive line issue that's ongoing. But like for the Giants, my biggest issue with them right now is officially benching Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Why start now? You're 2-8. Like the season's basically over. For me, you already paid him this year. I think it's like his salary ended up being, I think it's like 35 mil plus whatever he was owed from his signing every single year. So I think like upwards of $45 million this year. Why not just let him start? Let him go.
Yeah.
Like what I don't understand is trying to change it now in week 12 and thinking you have a shot of making a wild card, or that you're even going to do something in the playoffs going with essentially a third string quarterback. So for me, I understand benching him because he's not good. Like I get that, but this isn't week 3 anymore.
Right.
Let him finish it out. And selfishly, and I don't know team purposely tanks, putting that in quotes. But as a Giant fan, I'd almost want to play Daniel Jones in hopes that they lose out the rest of the game, and that, the likes of the Browns, Jags, and whoever else is 2 and whatever, end up winning a game, so we get the top draft pick, so that's just me. But I mean, the Jets are just dumpster fire top to bottom.
So it's unequivocally the Jets, and it's funny because part of me is happy because as Carl Powers deflects with political jokes and laughter, crying through laughter, nobody thought the Jet season would play out the way it did. And so, like I said, you fire Robert Saleh. Yeah. And ironically, you're 1-6. What is it? 1-6, 1-5 since that happened, which is amazing, right? And then your owner is more meddlesome than what I guess people would have thought, right? Like he's the fact that these reports that he pulled the coaches and some of the players, or at least some of the coaches and the front office staff, and wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers week 4, like for Tyrod Taylor of all people. It's unbelievable. It's a hard scenario. I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming back the way his contract. I don't think he's going to be a Jet next year. I think this is going to be it. And to fire your GM, who technically his contract would have expired at the end of the season, it would have been hard for me to say that they wouldn't have extended him. I mean, what did he do wrong? He was able to draft you Breece Hall. He was able to draft you Garrett Wilson, and he was able to draft you Sauce Gardner. The pieces for the Jets were there. Matter of fact, through the 7 games, they were 4-3 with Zach Wilson last year.
Mhm.
I mean, who's to say that it wouldn't have given Zach Wilson just time? Is it a coach thing? I don't know. You bring in Nathaniel Hackett, you've sacrificed so much for Aaron Rodgers. Nathaniel Hackett, his only real tether to the NFL, like his entire career at this point is tied to Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
So, like outside of that, you've just made it's not just the quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers got all of his guys to the Jets, and it resulted in everybody getting fired. And then the icing on that particular cake is that Aaron Rodgers is also playing bad, and he's blaming other players.
Yeah.
They were on an upward swing. They, like I said, Joe Douglas, the front office, whoever's responsible, nailed pretty much every high pick they had in their rebuild, except the quarterback, as you said. So why not try to swing for that quarterback? It's odd. It's an odd situation. Your Giants. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think when you look at Aaron Rodgers, I think he's contracted through 2025. But I mean, I'm looking at the cap sheet right now, and even through next year, their biggest issue is that Devontae Adams takes up close to $40 million.
That's insane.
It's
insane.
Wild. Yeah,
that's an insane number.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so now we get to your Giants.
Yeah.
I agree with you. If the point of Daniel Jones, and I'm not defending Danny Dimes. I like Danny Dimes. I'm not going to sit there and act like he's not at fault here. But I don't know if you have a coach. I don't know what you have in that front office. I'm not going to sit there and act like it's Daniel Jones's fault. And
I mean, it's certainly he's not helping the cause.
I got you. I mean, really, is he though? Daniel Jones's record, Daniel Jones has had 24 passing touchdowns as a rookie in 13 games, right? But since then, when Dable came, he's had 46 touchdowns in 57 games. Mm-hmm. So he's had almost 2 touchdowns per game in his rookie year with, who's that, McAdoo? Who's the coach before? Not McAdoo. Tommy Toughnuts. What was his name?
That was after Ben McAdoo.
That was after the dude from the Patriots. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's like, so yeah, he's gotten worse, but that's a result of the coaching, right? Like they're not putting him in the right spots. He's part of the problem, Bert. He's not the problem. I'm hoping Daniel Jones has some type of Sam Darnold redemption arc, and it's even more highlighted when you have players like Joe Judge. There we go. Thank you. That was the guy.
And Pat Shermer before that.
Yeah. Joe Judge talking about he'd fight players. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But now it's confusing because the fans. You would think the fans are the ones that are really happy about it, but the Dexter Lawrence is coming out and saying, "Yeah, no, we're disappointed. Like he's the best quarterback on the roster. He's the best quarterback on our team, and it's not fair that because of us, he's getting the blame." He said that there's players in the locker room, and this is New York media reporting this, how the whole Daniel Jones situation was handled. Like, specifically knowing that it's a financial decision, with Dexter Lawrence saying, he's the best quarterback on the team, he's my QB1. Like, the defense of Daniel Jones from players, to me, speaks way more than the loud, frustrated voices of the fans. And I even though I understand the move, people aren't idiots. We understand you did it for money, but Daniel Jones has been classy to me. He's not complained. He hasn't like really made a fuss about anything. The wins and losses are on the team. We have seen teams with bad quarterbacks still maybe not win in a sense, but at least be competitive. To blame him to me is trash. Like, and then you're going to sit there and make him 4th string. It's like, just send him home for all that. Like, don't just pull the curtain. Get rid of the facade. So I don't know. I think that the organization, I think there's problems deeper than Daniel Jones. I think it's just far beyond Daniel Jones. I think the organization, especially with Hard Knocks, the John Mara situation, you deal with the Saquon stuff. It's like
the Hard Knock shit is coming back to haunt because all I see now on my socials are the fucking clips of these doofs talking about the Saquon situation and everything else. They're just like, well, and it's all coming back to bite them. And look, these conversations may happen at a lot of organizations behind closed doors, but guess what? When it's on film and it doesn't turn out the way you want it, man, it makes it sting even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So anyway, fuck the Jets. Sorry, Bert. Fuck the Giants too. I mean, them bums, get them out of here. They're not even real New York teams.